Senator Tester of Montana is recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, Ranking Member, and I want to thank everybody for testifying today. Marty, the article that came out in the paper is damning, very damning. I guess the question is it says in this article that folks were demoted, but nobody was fired. By the things, if true, the stuff in here, do you see them as a fireable offense?
You really have to look at the individual cases, Senator. We have had cases in the past where individuals are separated from the agency. We've had cases in which other disciplinary actions short of separation have been utilized. It depends on the facts of the case and the law, and you really have to look at the individual cases.
I would, and I understand that, but I will tell you that this is so pervasive that 20 women have quit. I know you got a big agency, so that might not be a lot, but man, I think if you're going to change behavior, the best way to do it would be to deal with these folks very severely. And I know you need probably more regulators than you have now, but the truth is that what was represented in that Wall Street Journal article is absolutely, as you already pointed out, unacceptable. I want to talk about Basel. It's the same line of questions as has been talked about here from both sides of the aisle. Look, I'm concerned about small businesses because Montana is a small business state. They have to have access to capital. These rules don't affect any banks in Montana, but they do affect the big guys that affect Montana, okay? And if you look at our system, it has worked incredibly well, especially when you compare it to what folks in other countries have access to. But I do have some concerns about the proposed changes and how its impact will be on workers and households and small businesses, access to credit, and overall vibrancy of our capital markets. So the question is how are you guys, and I'm talking Barr and Sue and Gruenberg, how are you evaluating the impact of these proposal changes on the consumers? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Senator Tester. First of all, let me just say we share your same concerns. We want a capital system, a banking system that works for households, it works for businesses, works for small businesses around the country that are really the lifeblood of their communities. The way we've analyzed this rule, we do not believe that this will have significant negative effects on small businesses. The credit provisions in the rule are quite similar to existing binding provisions. And we welcome comment if we can improve the rule in that regard.
We will stick with you, Michael. And so you're in the process of taking in comments that go until the middle of January, correct? Or end of January, somewhere in that.
That's correct, January 16th.
And so, can you tell me, have you looked at those comments yet? And then do any of them talk about the issue that I'm talking about how this is going to affect consumers?
But we expect most comments to come in mid-January, but we already have heard in the public discourse a concern in this regard, and we're paying very, very close attention to that. And as I said, if there are areas that we can improve the rule, we're very open to doing that.
And so you're open to improving, aka rewriting the rule if the comments reflect that?
We very much welcome all those comments. We have to look at the substance of them, but we want to make sure the rule works right for households and businesses. And if we need to make adjustments to the rule to make sure that that's the case, we will do it.
Okay, so not to beat this horse anymore, but I will just tell you that from a small business standpoint, if this rule doesn't work, it's going to raise hell with the economy of my state. So that's all I need to tell you. I have also had a conversation about how potentially this could push activities into the non-bank sector that's not regulated. And I'll stick with you, Michael, because I don't have enough time to go down the line. How do you consider those larger impacts based off the rule that's going to be put out? Because as most of us at this side, all this side, I mean, we remember what happened in 2008 pretty vividly. Jack referred to it. Could you tell me how you weigh this stuff out? Because if we're pushing stuff to the non-bank, and I'm sorry I'm over time, but if we push this stuff to the non-bank, that is not a good thing. Talk to me.
Thank you, Senator Tester. I share your concern. It's an issue that we take very seriously. We'll continue to take seriously as we get in comment. If it looks like in the mix of things that we're increasing risk, we obviously wouldn't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're reducing risk with the capital proposal. We want to make sure we have good, strong regulation of the non-bank sector, and we want good, strong rules in the banking sector because we need a vibrant banking sector to support the American economy.
It is absolutely critical. Without access to capital, we are dead in the water. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now recognize Mr. Jackson for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Dr. McCormick. Thank you so much for your time today and your transparency. Can I ask you one question? Was there a particular reason why the United States left Afghanistan September 11th, 2021? Was the date symbolic?
I don't know why
Okay,
the
like
date.
9/11, September.
Yeah, it was 9/11,
11,
yeah.
Like, didn't know if there was anything. If there was something that we could pry into regarding the State Department's actions, how can we help you do your job better and the information that you need from the State Department?
Well, I think if this committee sent a bipartisan request or notice to state that they should be cooperating with us, and we're happy to provide you chapter and verse of where there's a lack of cooperation, that would be very helpful.
Okay, we see there's an acceleration in the amount of humanitarian assistance that's needed, that more children are going into acute care for malnutrition. What specifically can you add to that to share with us? Is this going to continue to accelerate? Is it staving off? Is it at a level that can be managed? Are we able to provide more assistance to curtail this humanitarian crisis that's unfolding?
Well, I don't know if the humanitarian crisis is going, but I think our assistance has not grown proportionally. But again, that's a decision made by state aid and Congress on the amount of money you want to give. I don't think there's been any effect of our assistance on improving the core or the causes of the crisis in Afghanistan.
Will there be, under your estimation, from the boots on the ground, the general sentiment, how are Americans perceived in Afghanistan at this moment?
It would be hard for me to say. I know the people who have left Afghanistan, the Afghans, love us, but I can't speak for what the average Afghan thinks.
Could you explain how the